Um, the one thing about hip hop is that, okay, the one thing that actually sticks with me and his home personally, the kind of influence that it has, that it exerts, it actually questions society by reflecting it. One actually questions the whole notion that a society learning from what hip hop is actually trying to reflect or is reflecting, just like the media would, the kind of power that it has. That's the one thing that hits home, really, when it comes to me, when speaking about hip hop. As to okay, the one part of this whole landscape when it comes to Joburg hip hop that actually stands true with me would have to be the whole era of the Lymphatic Tabs, Human, that's when I started listening to hip hop, because it just gave poetic license on some other level, that full on expression, that you have to love about hip hop, stylistically. That's what I appreciate about hip hop personally.
Found kids rhyming in Zulu at the shops, and this is like proper Zulu life. So, I mean, that's the DIY there, you know what I mean? These kids are already rhyming, because they've heard it somewhere. You don't need anybody to be hip hop, You don't need the money. You don't need, all of that is being sold, but you don't need it, really, you know what I mean? You can cut an album from your bedroom, you know what I'm saying? So,
and I don't think hip hop is about actually an album being a hip hop artist, right? Yes, it started like that, but the philosophy of it, like my brother's been saying, DIY, do it yourself kind of, it's I will say with me how I use it. I listen to a lot of music. I take hip hop now as a genre of music in my collection of music that I have. But as a culture and the philosophy that I use every day is that I'm a graphic designer. I've followed art for most of my life. I freelance. I have my own small little studio. I don't work for nobody. It's all of those things, how they came about is the inspiration of how I started listening to hip hop as a teenager. All the guys, when he's rapping on that record, claiming whatever he claims to be with the cars, it made me feel like I could be like this guy, but I could get the money differently. You know what I mean? In a way, when it comes to the music industry, it depends what you are trying to do as a hip hop artist. In South Africa, a lot of hip hop artists are not just hip hop artists. He will be a hip hop artist and work at an office somewhere because he cannot sell records. Because the way they have most commercial ones, the way they have taken this art form is that they think of it as how it's been done in get a record deal kind of situation, Yes, you can record. My friends got a studio. My friends can master. I know somebody at SABC. I can get a YFM. I can get my record played. But at the end of the day, what about your friend next door? Will he buy the record? Did you make the T-shirt? Did you go around and make small little hustles to make sure that your product it's out there? Because you have to carry yourself as a brand, whether if you are a person or a company. As a person, when I wake up in the morning, what am I living for? And you use hip hop as the roots of what you are supposed to be doing in your life. It's part of inspiration. At the same time, it's a musical style, I would say.
So it's maybe like a guide.
It's a guide form, I wouldn't even say it's just hip hop, because hip hop exposes you to a lot of things. It will expose you to religion. It will expose you to money. It will expose you to women. It will expose you to hate and love. So you learn as you go. Because as much as we grew up, all of us, as you have a father figure at home, your father was not really as much of a father, you know what I mean? So you have that thing that actually, not that hip-hop actually, without hip-hop we wouldn't have been a graphic designer, but hip-hop now, because of now, with hip-hop it become the ideas that you hear, you're like, okay, I can do this too, but I can use this way. And besides just the music part of it, the graffiti, the b-boying, the philosophy of b-boying from even the 30s, how these guys used to do is just dancing, you're singing, and you just flip a move out of nowhere. It's just always bringing something new in your life, and I think that's what hip-hop always has done for me, you know, being able to change all the time but have consistency in your life, you know. I think yeah, in a way.
Just to build on what he's saying, in terms of the music itself and the culture and the essence of it, you know, it's the only, or at least to my knowledge, culture that encourages you to be yourself. It stresses it. Don't bite, don't take from that guy, you know. It's also one of the only cultures that is very, very on point when it says don't be dumb, don't be ignorant, you know what I'm saying? So those things, like, much of the music is saturated with a whole lot of other things, you know, negative messages and things, but the underlying message at the end of the day always is, yo, be yourself and go out there and do what you have to do. Sometimes the cats talk about violence to bring that point across, you know. Sometimes the guy will talk about going to church and helping a lady across the street to bring that same, you know. So it's this wide sort of palette, you know, but it all talks about the same thing ultimately. I mean, personally, I'm not a fan of this new hip-hop that's coming out, you know, like, I feel it's essenceless. But when I listen to it in the club, they're singing about, I want to be a millionaire, you know. And for me, as much as I don't relate to the music, hell yeah, I want to be a millionaire, you know. So it gives you that thing, like he says, it almost like that message that your father didn't give you, you know, that constant, go be yourself, don't copy, don't be fake, you know. It gives you that on the constant sort of you know, time, like, period. Actually, every time you put a song on, whether the guy is whack or not, he's talking about how to get a girl, you know what I'm saying? Fine, you got the girl, his ego is boosted, you know what I'm saying? Like he said, you listen to that dude, you're thinking, ah, man, I'm fresh, I can probably go out and do the same thing, you know what I'm saying? Cat talks about stealing cars and whatever. You get cats in the hood, they get high on some drugs and they listen to hip-hop with that message, and it encourages them to go out and hijack and steal, you know what I'm saying? So we draw this inspiration and these things from it, and the sad part is there's negative and positive elements, you know, and I guess it's a personal decision. That's when knowledge of self comes in, where you know what works for you and what doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Or rather, hey, if I'm gonna go this way, then I'm gonna go this way. But yeah, and it allows you to be you, you know. Toomey said something that's always stuck with me when he did an in-story. It's like, when someone asked him, yo, dude, what do you do? He's like, I do what Lil Wayne does. I do what Nelly does, you know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. When people who don't listen to hip-hop see a MC, it's like, yo, he's a rapper, he's a hip-hopper, you know what I'm saying? But hip-hop allows for that, like, wide palette, these different colors, you know, this wide spectrum. You can be Lil Wayne and, you know, push the whip and whatever, and you can be that MC that's hard, like, yo, I'm gonna kill you with a devil's horn and then crucify you with a penis or some shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, it allows for those things, you know what I mean? And that's the beauty of the culture as well. And you get certain sects, and like, within the culture there's subcultures, you know what I'm saying? Like, those guys that only go to the backpackers guys, you know, the basemental platform, audio visual cats. And then you get the Deleuze and AKA crew, you know what I'm saying? But it's all hip hop because it allows for that, you know what I'm saying? I mean, then you can get to the deeper argument of what is and what isn't, about they just make party music. That's how hip hop started out initially. The MC was supposed to stand there and hype the DJ. Yo, the DJ's in the house, put your hands up, you know what I'm saying? And then we just, over time, you know, our egos took over and we became the spotlight, you know what I mean? So it's always been about having fun. Or rather, from the beginning it was about that, you know. It's just as time grew, it grew as a child, and we added all these other things, and there was different sects that developed, you know. And you gain from it knowledge, politics, religion, like you said, you know what I mean, and just how to relate to people as well, and be able to conversate with other people, you know, and relate to your environment.
As I sit here and listen to everybody was trying to explain what hip hop is, I can't explain it. I can't put words to what hip hop is. Like, you can't box it. So if you can explain something that's in the building that is boxed, that is like outside, it's like explaining the universe or how it works. It's how you take it.
It's like if you have an instrument, you decide to build a house or you decide to do a sculpture or something. It's how you use the instrument that you're given. So how I use hip hop as a lifestyle, or as it allows me to act, like you said, be what you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So if you like to exchange skills, like you're like you're a community organizer, grassroots level kind of thing, and you involve other people in what you do, and involve other communities. Don't be selfish. Exchange skills. See how you can multiply as a group. And, you know what I mean? Because hip hop is a niche, and it's very niche. Our hip hop is a niche, like you said. The others got the media. We don't have the media. It's hard to get the message out. Fuck that shit of selling your mixtape in a backpack, going one by one. There's other like ways to sell your shit. So it's a broad question, man. Like, it's huge.
I understand, but with it being broad, is that what appeals to?
Yeah, like you said, you can plug in. It's like a whole lot of sockets. If it's broad like that, everybody can plug in and draw something like that. Whichever how you draw that information from and how you carry yourself with that information, it's up to you. It's up to the individual.
As far as the influence hip hop does, a typical example is Tupac. Look at Tupac. There were cats who just, when they listened to Tupac, they had the gangster Tupac.
Sure.
You know? But there's tracks where Tupac is like, dear mom. You know, it's a gangster would cry listening to that track. You know, so the influence of hip hop is quite diverse, man. Even from one nigga, you know, like it can go to every corner. You know, so hip hop is quite influential in all aspects. You know, like from your money making to your knowledge of self. Cause the key thing maybe knowledge of self, because elementary, yeah, knowledge of self is what hip hop tries to push. But within that, there's a lot of things, you know, that people get from hip hop. You know, it's different, like from any other genre, man. From your jazz to your kwaito, it's different within it. It's fragmented a lot that we all draw different things from it. You know, yeah.